People of Earth, we come in peace.
Welcome to this neighborhood, neighbor.
I am the Martian ambassador.
Des Moines and all of central Iowa, welcome to Mac's World Live. Mac's World is your world. Every day we talk about the issues and topics that matter most to you. And as always, it's your voice we want to hear in Mac's World. So join the conversation by calling 515-244-0077. And now, here's the host of Mac's World Live, J. Michael McCoy.
6 minutes after 4 o'clock on this 22nd day of February in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Welcome back to Mac's World. We've got an exciting list of shows this week, including my friend Peter, who works on the Hill and is very, very much opposed to what's happening with this legalization of medical marijuana. Well, it's really not medical marijuana. It's even further down or up the road than that. No. It's the other way. It's all oil, right? That has none of the funny stuff in it, Bob. The oil.
THC, no THC.
Oh yeah, it's cannabidiol, which is inactive.
But my friend Peter, who's a lobbyist on the Hill, thinks this is just really horrible. That everybody. His comment to me last week on the phone was that everybody that is a pro marijuana user or a pro marijuana supporter thinks they've now just fast tracked this right down to growing pot in Iowa and selling it at the local convenience store.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's maybe people think that way.
Yeah.
But obviously, this part here is specifically, a component of the marijuana. People. Yeah, that's the way I see it. Now, who knows where it's going to go? But a lot of times, and like I said, Colorado was kind of a test case to see how things are going. So people are watching them to see.
Yeah, I saw a statistic the other day. The drunk driving arrest went down last year in Colorado for the first time in like 7 years. Frank?
I've said for a long time that
Then why are you going to say it again?
Well, because it bears repeating.
Okay.
That I think these things are good for the epileptic seizures and the glaucoma, and all those things are great needs. But I believe it's always the recreational use that is behind these efforts to push that forward, because then they feel that softens the electorate for later use.
It does. It does. It does. That's, the country's going to pot. Yeah, I just did that. All right, I want to introduce you to a young man by the name of Adam. Adam is who he says he is. He's asking us not to use his last name, and therefore we respect that. But if you've been a long-time listener of mine, or this is the very first day, if I have somebody that's on the radio and for whatever reason they have anonymity, I just ask you to trust me. I'm not going to put somebody on and not identify them and then let them slander or lie or do something horrible. We just don't do that. Never have done that in Mac's World. Never have done that in 40 years in Mac's World. And we're not about to start now, but please honor his anonymity. Adam is a member of Celebrate Recovery at Lutheran Church of Hope. I know that's my church, and I know you get tired of me talking about it, but it's my favorite church. And it's a church that I'm always talking about because I want you to come and visit. Whether you're an addict, whether you're a divorcee, whether you're broken, or whether you're perfect. Yep, there's a place for you at Lutheran Church of Hope. The only thing you'll find out if you think you're perfect is you're not so perfect, because Jesus didn't make perfect people. They always like to say that God didn't make any mistakes. Yes, he did. He made every one of us a mistake when he gave us free will, but it was the gift he was willing to take a chance on giving us. So, Adam, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Nice to have you here. Don't let Frank scare you.
Frank's a good guy.
I'm a good guy. That's true.
You've only known Frank 12 minutes.
That's
I'm
right.
getting a very good vibe off of Frank.
Are you?
Yeah.
Very friendly man.
Frank's like the feral cat.
Yeah.
Put a little warm milk out, and he starts coming around and raises his back when you pet him and then when he turns around, it's...
Except I hate milk. That's the only bad part of that. You put out a bowl of water.
Well, there you go, water. All right, so Adam, what's your herd habit or hang up?
It is alcohol.
Yeah?
And it was alcohol.
When was the first time you took a drink?
I was probably about 12 years old.
Ah.
Took the official big swig of a drink, felt the effects as a 12-year-old.
Do you remember when or where it was? I mean,
Yes, I do.
Tell me about it.
It was me and my friend. It was summertime. His parents were not at home. We got into the liquor cabinet, and can I say what kind it was? It was
Sure.
It was Drambuie. Not every kid's favorite drink. Scotch liqueur. And we each took a big shot of that, and we split about 3 beers between us. And then, it was a warm, fuzzy day after that. And we got on our bicycles, and we just rode up to the Merle Hay Mall, nonetheless, and just kind of goofed around, and it was all fun and games. And then, we rode back home, and, the rest of the day I enjoyed a splitting headache hangover, But that was...
Excuse me, but
Did you get sick that day?
a splitting headache, but I didn't throw up or anything. It was just that shot of Drambuie and a couple of beers was, didn't have any ill effect other than just the ouch.
All
my
good
head hurts.
drinking stories usually start the parents are gone.
That's right. Absolutely. That's,
did the parents ever find out?
They didn't. They didn't other than maybe
They know now.
the reminiscing years later. I think we've let that story out, but
Did that start a regular habit of consumption then?
no, not at that time. Not at that time. Regular use of anything probably happened in high school,
Okay.
and that's when I was a junior in high school. I started using marijuana on a regular basis. I have ADHD, had ADHD pretty bad, and just had a tough time, sitting still in class and anxiety, and marijuana just took that away, and it became kind of a habit there for a couple of years until I graduated. And then I didn't return back to alcohol until about the age of 19. And that was in 1996. So what had happened is my stepfather had died, and it was sudden, it was unexpected, and it was actually in February because he died in January, but in February, about 3 weeks after, I took my first real couple of drinks in a long, long time, and with all the stress and everything, it just took it away, and it did something other than just making me feel bloated and kind of weird feeling. It had like a real effect that I enjoyed. So
Yeah, it took away your sadness, and you thought somehow you could get over the hump of depression that you were settling into, and
exactly, it provided buffers that were gone, and then it just put them right back up for me, and it was like just set them right back up there. So it was like a tool.
How often did you drink after you started back again in that February, March of, what would you say, 96?
96. Probably once a week. It was usually the weekends. I just made it kind of a Saturday thing because I didn't really work on Sunday. So it was Saturdays, quart of beer, 2 quarts of beer. And then it became like 3 and 4 quarts of beer. And, I could really start to pound them away. I don't know what 4 quarts of beer translates into like can-wise, but, that's starting a pretty good habit there.
How many ounces in a quart?
That's 32.
32 ounces in a
32
quart,
to
and
40.
most beers are 12-ounce cans.
12, yeah.
Do the math for me, guys.
Well, you 16. That'd be 16 beers.
Oh, my goodness.
So as you was drinking, your tolerance for alcohol went up, obviously.
Yeah, very fast. And, I felt like I could handle it. After the first couple of months, there was no more, wobbly and feeling around or, fish eyes, goggle vision, whatever you call it. I thought I really had a command of this stuff. And then, after a couple months, I was like, okay, I've had a fun ride with this. I'm going to quit. So when I tried quitting, that was not very easy.
Did you, Adam, did you realize that you were abusing alcohol, or was it the money that made you want to quit, or what? I mean, that's kind of unusual for an alcoholic to just say, I'm just going to quit.
Well, I mean, there was, some alcoholism in the family. So I thought I had my fun and I could control it. I figured, I know what this is all about. I've seen it, don't want anything to do with it. I had my fun there, but this isn't going to be like every night, like people I knew. I'm just going to, have this bit of fun. And when I tried to quit, it wasn't working like I thought it was going to work out.
And so did you have a hard time stopping then?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How long was your drinking career?
In all?
Yeah.
Between then and because I'm 39, what was I, about 36, 37 when I quit. We're looking at almost about 15 years. And if you minus the couple, I think about 2.5 years, if you total them up that I stayed sober, because there was times where I did manage to stay sober, we're looking at about 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 39.
Are you?
Yeah.
This is a radio program, so it doesn't matter, but you don't look 30. You look much younger.
I know. I do. People say that to me, and that's a good thing, I'm not ravished by, not in the face at least.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't take a toll on you, that way like it can.
Yeah. Oh, tell me about
Frank's only 27, but look at it. Look at what alcohol did to him. Yeah, can you imagine that? Yeah, and Bob's 162. Look how well he's aged. He looks great. All right, we're going to take our first break. Adam is our guest. He had about a 13-year drinking career. We'll talk about some of the ways that it impacted his life. And if you haven't heard a Restoring Hope segment lately, and you wonder why we talk about this, we talk about this not because we think you have a drinking problem. We talk about this because you know somebody who does. Yeah, I know. Hard to believe, right? I mean, if you were going to admit it, it's probably somebody in the choir with you, or it's somebody in your Bible study, or it's that friend that you just know, wine goes down too quick. While everybody else says, no, I've had enough, this one's taken more and more. We're trying to help you understand this disease of alcoholism and drug abuse, and somewhere in the middle to remember that Jesus is really the only way. The only way you're ever going to whip a demon like alcohol. We'll talk about that as we continue live on The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
"21 minutes after 4 o'clock, 4:21 on the 22nd day of February in the Lord's year. Oh, the Lord's year 2016. Hope everybody had a nice weekend. We should have some warming, the warming trend is kind of over, but we're not heading back down into the deep zero yet. But if it makes you feel better, it's 1 month from today, right? First day of spring, March 22nd, or is that March 21?
Something like that. I didn't look it up.
I think is
21?
December 21, March 21, September 21, and
they're always the 21st?
I believe so.
Okay. 515-244-0077. That's the phone number if you'd like to join in the conversation today. If you'd like to send us your thoughts in a text, you may do that at the Service Legends Truth Text Talk line at 515-809-0993. My guest today is Adam. This is a special edition of Restoring Hope, just for Wendy. My guest is Adam, and Adam spent about 13 years drinking and drugging, or was there drugging while you were drinking?
After, there was some scattered drugging after high school, but not
Drugs
much.
were never the issue.
Well, I believe I developed my habit, of chronic use that carried over to alcohol from marijuana.
So if somebody says marijuana is a gateway drug, you'd say for you,
yeah,
it was.
Yeah. I would say so. If I eliminated that use and the pattern of use, and I may have stood somewhat of a chance with alcohol. But as I've said, it was almost immediate when I went back to alcohol. It just was like, boom, I'm in the game, and I'm pretty much addicted to it.
Yeah, well, you the way you described it, you would have been drinking about 16 beers a day.
Yeah, well, I guess 3 or 4 quarts. Jeez, that's quite a bit. And you should have seen me when I was that age too. I was like about 135 pounds, 6'1", as tall as I am now. And I was. I guess I could pack it away.
Yeah, apparently you had hollow legs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, you go to Celebrate Recovery out at Lutheran Church of Hope, which is obviously my church. I never deny that, and I do talk about it a lot. And whenever I talk about hope, I always tell people you're invited to come with me anytime to church. We have 5 campuses here in town. What does that mean, a campus? We're one church, multiple locations. One church, multiple locations. And if you've never been to a Lutheran Church of Hope Sunday 9:15 or 11, or Saturday at 5 and 7, or Sunday night at 5, you need to go just once, because you'll either hate it or you'll love it. And there's about 15,000 people in our community that choose to love it. It's a great church. Now, if you're into a church right now and you're happy at that church, don't leave, for heaven's sakes. We are in search of the lost, not the found. We are not a cruise ship for good enough Christians. Lutheran Church of Hope is it's a hospital for sinners. And you're welcome anytime. And one of the ministries we have, led by the incredible Melissa Dale, is Celebrate Recovery. Now, how long have you been going to CR, Adam?
I'd say 2 years, 5 months.
2 years, 5 months.
Yeah.
Had you stopped drinking at that point?
Yeah, the week of my, September 9th. Is my sobriety date. So
9/9.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you quit before you walked into CR or after?
No, before. It was, but, a couple days.
Couple days.
I'm trying to remember exactly what day the 9th was that year, about 2 years ago.
Well, that'd be probably Tuesday, because CR's been on Thursday for 5, almost 6 years now.
And I believe you're right, because I remember I missed Monday work, Tuesday at work.
Yeah, tell me about that last weekend of drinking, and why was that the weekend that you decided you'd had enough?
Well, I had, over the course of my drinking career, I had bouts with depression. And it was a pretty, you know, it was awful. It didn't feel good, you know, and it was very personal. You know, I still don't talk about it a lot, but it was the alcohol just draining me of kind of any endorphins in my brain that would actually make me happy. And so I was kind of in a constant state of melancholy. And luckily I was able to get out of that and be okay. And for some reason, you know, it just came back. It was starting to come back, and I knew it was.
Were you under any doctor's medications or advisement for your depression?
At that particular time, no. But I years before I'd tried, you know, I'd talked to doctors, and they gave me prescriptions, and, you know, I'd take a month or two, and then I just wouldn't use them anymore. I just don't like pharmaceuticals whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know, no.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're in good shape. You take care of the way you look and your body. You're not overweight like me at all.
Yeah.
So, well, no, I'm serious though. You know, I do not take very good care of my what's it called?
You're pleasantly plump.
Your physical.
My temple. Thank you. My pleasantly plump. Bless your heart. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome.
Appreciate that. But I need to do anyway. That's another story. And so the depression, I don't want you to talk about anything you don't want to talk about.
Oh, no.
But if you can help someone who's listening understand how that feeling that you're labeling depression, how that made you feel, because maybe there's somebody out there that feels the same way and they don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
They don't know why it is. They think maybe there's a radon leak in the gas chamber or something. It's not. It's really something. It's real.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Depression is not something you decide. It takes you on and tackles you, and there's hardly any way to get out of it when you're truly depressed.
This is true. What I would tell them, you know, my glass is kind of always half empty. I mean, the whole world was kind of a glass is half empty kind of thing. There was no hope in things working out. My life situation, you know, I'll make this real quick. I was married and divorced by the time I was 23.
Okay.
By the time I was 23, it was done and over with. I have a child that I have custody of. Okay. I've had custody of him the whole entire time. You know, he's a high functioning autistic child. He's a 3.0 student.
That makes it harder.
And it took a lot out of me to raise him so far. And you know, there wasn't a lot of hope and you know, I was like, what's going to come next? You know, what am I going to do for this poor guy? And, you know, money was always tight. Work was often stressful. Of course, you know, when I drank as much as I did, everything was stressful.
Right.
Everything was overwhelming. So
how old's he now, by the way?
He is 17.
Wow.
Yeah, he's 17 years old.
How's he doing?
He's doing great. He's wonderful.
Okay.
He's absolutely doing good. He's coming along. He's still getting wonderful grades. And
does he function like a normal person?
Yeah, absolutely. He does. He's pretty normal. His speech is a little delayed, but if you look at his writing, the way he writes and the things he writes, his brain is definitely advanced.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a high level of writing.
Do you see him hopefully going to college?
Absolutely.
What do you think he'll choose to do?
He loves video games, and I keep telling him, try to get into programming or something. Yeah. I don't know if he'll do that or not, but like graphic design, I know he could do. He's good at that. I think there's, we'll just might have to wait and see.
Yeah, what God has in store for him.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. I don't know if you want to answer this or not, because sure. I guess we didn't discuss it, but did you try out any other drugs besides marijuana?
Did I try any others out?
Experiment.
I experimented a little bit with LSD back there in the 90s in high school. And then I had small experimentations with methamphetamines.
Well, the reason I asked that is because you kind of come across to me as a guy who naturally gravitated towards alcohol's a depressant. Mm-hmm. You look like a guy that would probably gravitate towards barbiturates as opposed to amphetamines. Did you like amphetamine use? Did it make you feel any better, any worse?
I really didn't like amphetamine use after maybe the first couple times because it was way over the top. I did not need much for it to do its thing. I'd take a little and it was just like boom. You know, I was up far too long. My friends who took the same amount, they'd get to sleep like 24, 48 hours before I did. And I wouldn't eat the whole entire time. It obviously pushed me, because I'm already kind of up there, pushed me far beyond that. And so speed is definitely not something that, I should even be trying.
Right.
I'm already there kind of in some ways.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want me on speed or caffeine or anything like that,
Right.
Adam is our guest today. He's, what, did you say you're 39?
I'm 39.
39 years old. Member of Celebrate Recovery out at Lutheran Church of Hope. He will be 9/9, September to October. So you're about 2.5 years sober.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's coming up.
And primarily beer, or did you elevate to liquor?
Well, I'm a German Irish, so I love my beer.
Okay.
So beer was the stuff for me, and yeah, I would drink some hard alcohol after the beer would kind of get old. Or I'm gonna lose some weight now, so I'm gonna just drink some hard alcohol. Well, that doesn't work like that. Your body learns how to burn that all the same, and so you just kind of retain all that weight anyways. Yeah. So
but you were a functioning
cheap
alcoholic.
Beer. I was.
You had a son that you've raised,
right?
And you don't have to say where you work or if it identifies what, but what kind of work do you do?
I was 14 years. I worked for pre-certification for health insurance was the place that I worked at.
Okay.
And I did various jobs there. But for the most part, where I ended up was in customer service.
Okay.
Talking to people. There were some difficult conversations. You got to play this game where you try to get them to do what you want them to, what you want them to do, and make them understand things that health insurance can be kind of complicated, but that's what it was. But it was a lot of talking, all day long. You know exactly what I mean. Sometimes, I'm sure when you get off work, you just don't want to talk sometimes.
Adam,
maybe you do.
No. In fact, I'm how do you describe me? I mean, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't do things at night. Yeah. Nothing. I mean, when I went to the caucus this year, that was the latest I've probably stayed up.
Really?
In years.
You sound like my daughter. She does a lot of customer service on her job, and she says when she gets home, she don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, and that got to me after a while. I mean, I just changed jobs recently, and just to throw this out here, I mean, I'd come home. It got to the point where I'd come home and I didn't want to talk even to my son for like an hour. I'd just be like, just leave me be for at least an hour, please.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be like that with my family,
Right.
It's just me and him in the house. I don't want to be like that.
So what kind of drunk were you?
I was very quiet.
Okay. Reserved?
Quiet and reserved. I was not a bar fly at all.
Isolated?
Isolated very much.
Okay. How did you keep it from your son?
Well, he kind of knew.
Okay.
I'd come home, I'd make dinner, we'd watch TV, we'd just do some stuff. But in my life, it was always kind of open. I mean, people come over to the house. My parents would drink after work. The hard work is done. And dinner's made, kids fed. This is okay.
Party time.
Yeah, and they were high functioning too. Incredibly high functioning.
But you weren't a nightclub goer, bar goer, or anything like that?
No, even today, I've been out a couple of times with people, and I go out with people who don't drink, like my cousin, and it's okay as long as I have people with me that don't drink, and if I have a purpose of being there. I mean, what is my purpose of being there? And it's to be with people, but
yeah,
I don't like it.
Adam is my guest today. We're finding out what life was like. He's got a 17-year-old son, raised him on his own, and yet many of those years a functioning alcoholic. We'll find out more on how he got rid of that habit and what Jesus did for him. Next, live.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer. I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs.
And I'm the service manager.
Marketing director and client relations manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
.38, 22 minutes before the top of the hour. Salem Radio Network News at the top of the hour. And then it's Hank, the Bible Answer Man, right here. 1-888-ASK-HANK. No, you told me to say that differently. 1-888-ASK Hank. I know you're thinking, well, it's 21 minutes before the show starts. You should call now if you want to get in. And just sit on his hold line for a while. You probably listen to us in the background. But if you want to talk to Hank, now would be the time to call 1-888-ASK Hank. If you'd like to talk to Adam or anything going on here today, it's 1-515-244-0077. And the Truth Talk text line, brought to you by Brian Leach and Service Legends, is 515-809-0993. We're talking to Adam today, and Adam is 2.5 years sober without a drink. He was basically a beer drinker, but we could say almost 2 12-packs a day.
At some points, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, at some points. Was it every day?
Yes, it was. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was every day.
And so was there any specific thing that happened that made you finally put the plug in the jug and say, I'm done?
It got to the point where, things were actually okay in my life. I didn't have a lot to be sad about. Work was manageable. Home life was easier. Financially, things were getting better and easier. I bought a new house, and I was like, why am I still kind of living in this lament, this kind of permanent state of lament when things are getting better in my life? And so that's when, the depression that I once experienced years and years before, that it started to creep back in. I was like, I'm not going to do this again. I don't have another go around with that again like that. So I said no more. I said, I'm like going to surrender. But then I wanted to know what God was going to do about it.
Now, tell me what your relationship with God or your religion was like prior to you quitting drinking.
Well, like I said, I've been sober 2.5 years, so that's about 2014 or so, or 13. I gave my life to Christ in 2001.
Okay.
December 4th, 2001.
Okay.
So I'd been chasing after God for some time, just trying to, get sober. And within that time, I did stay sober 2 years through Alcoholics Anonymous. And then I think there was after I blew that, I think I went another 6 months before I finally got off, jumped off the wagon and just kept running. But
what made you, and I hate this term, the term everybody wants to use, the normies want to say, well, what made you fall off the wagon? But the truth of the matter is you went out for a little more experimentation because you thought you could learn to drink right.
Yeah, I expected it.
You didn't think you'd go back out and be an alcoholic every day again. You 6 months sober, you can do this.
Yeah, I figured I'd learned a couple skills that could carry me, but no. That lasted about a week. I could handle about 3.
Well, I heard a guest on Jan Michelson one time say that drinking teaches moderation. That's not your case, right?
No.
That there's no such thing as moderate drinking to you.
No, there really never was. No.
Yeah, no, there's no moderation in alcoholism. My daughter, my youngest daughter, works at a restaurant and she bartends. And Saturday, she was working the day shift, and so Saturday I went down and sat at the bar and got some food and was just talking to people. And the couple that sat down next to me, it's kind of funny how you meet people, and you start to talk to them. And of course, it's 2:00 in the afternoon. And they both ordered a drink, and pretty soon as it was empty, they ordered another one. And I noticed those things. And then those were empty, and they weren't done with their food yet. And the bartender, my daughter, came by and said, well, you guys want another one? Nope, 2's enough. 2's all we're going to do. And so I asked him about that, and I told him about myself and how I had joined a 12-step program about 6 years ago. And I was I think Saturday I was 2,115 days sober or something like that. And these people had seen enough alcoholism in their lives that they knew how to become an alcoholic or how to avoid. And they have a limit, and they don't go over it. Yeah. And I said to them, you have to understand, one beer is too many, or one drink. I never drank beer. But for me, one drink was too many, and 12 was not enough. I had no limits, right? We didn't have limits on how much we drink. We drank until we passed out. Or I guess you didn't even run out of beer. You went out and bought more beer if you ran out.
Yeah, my situation was I'd stay pretty much straight until that one drink, and it was usually like number 12 or something like that. And that's the drink I would take, and I'd feel everything that I was working for.
Yeah,
I could. The first beer all the way up to number 11 was all the same. It was just that one drink, and it just went boom.
Yep.
Now, when you say high functioning, does that basically mean that you could get up and go to work the next day?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. And I did.
Every day.
Every day.
I don't think I ever missed a day of work because of alcohol. I really don't.
So did you get up and chase away a what they call a hangover with a drink, or?
That happened from time to time, but I already had the stuff on my breath, and I didn't want it on my breath anymore. So, taking a drink in the morning wasn't really good. I have to go into work, and I was always very careful not to smell like it, but I'm pretty sure I did anyways. But I think I did it out of courtesy as much as I could, so that I wouldn't.
Yeah, and you could always smell beer on somebody's.
Yeah, it smells like rotted cheese or something.
Yeah, it's not good.
No.
What I didn't realize until it was too late was that alcohol will come out of your pores in like a sweat.
Oh, yeah.
And then it smells like that. And so I could take a shower and be halfway through my day, and it'd be a hot day, and I would be perspiring, and it would be the smell of alcohol when I hadn't touched alcohol for, 12, 15 hours.
Yeah, I was a 3 shower a day kind of guy, too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so it's a couple days before the 9th of September. You feel this depression coming on. You're not going to do this anymore. What did you do to quit?
Well, I contemplated whether I was going back to Alcoholics Anonymous or not. And, I love Alcoholics Anonymous. The people there are great. I know people that they've gotten sober through there, but something about it, it's just not for me. It doesn't click. It doesn't do, that thing for me. I needed God to be there in the center of it, and I wanted Jesus Christ. And I'm not going to go into the difference between Celebrate Recovery and Alcoholics Anonymous and, varying degrees of belief, but Jesus is definitely there at Celebrate Recovery.
Right. Yeah.
He is.
A 12-step program is basically the God of your understanding. And I got to Jesus through that. But Celebrate Recovery is Jesus point one.
Right.
Right from the beginning. I love Celebrate Recovery.
Oh, yeah.
For that reason. You know who your God is and you know who you're surrendering to the moment you do it.
Yeah, and you're allowed to shout his name as loud as you want to.
That's right. Yeah. And his name is powerful.
That's right.
I love to say the name of Jesus around people who are not followers of his, who are in fact antichrists. We were talking about this earlier on the show today, the minions of the accuser, because that name really does bother them. They really can't. That is fingernails on a chalkboard. All right, we're going to take our next break, and when we come back, Adam, I'd like to have you explain a little bit about how you've been able to not only help yourself inside of CR, but the other kind of people that you've been able to help, because CR is not just for drug addicts and alcoholics. We have divorce support groups. We have people that have they've been physically, sexually, or emotionally abused. There's groups for those. There are groups for people who have lost loved ones, either in natural order cases or also sometimes in the tragedy of suicide. Celebrate Recovery is about dealing with life's hurts, habits, and hang-ups. And it may not be anything that you had anything to do with. People say, well, I don't believe alcoholism is a disease. I think you just drink and you're in charge of whether you drink it or not. I feel sorry for those people. They're low information people, but they can think that if that works for them. The fact of the matter is we do horrible things to ourselves. Adam and Eve did it with a piece of fruit, and we've been doing it ever since. And Celebrate Recovery is set up to help anyone who is struggling in life for any reason to surrender their life and their will to the care of God, whose we call Jesus, and to bring us back into a role of loving him and caring for him, and most importantly, having him care for us. I always believed in Jesus. I just didn't know he believed in me. We're coming back with Adam next.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on! This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
10 minutes before the top of the hour, 4:50, 5 o'clock, 1-888 Ask Hank. Hank, the Bible Answer Man, will be in. Live international show, coast to coast, right here live on this radio station, 99.3. All right. Adam is my guest, 2.5 years sober. His sobriety date is the 9th day of September in the Lord's year 2014? 2013.
I believe so.
2013 was when you quit.
Okay. All right. Yeah, my ability to do math in my head it's never been there. So
it's never been there. No. So yeah. So tell me. You said you had gone the 12-step route,
yes.
And you don't put it down. It just wasn't going to work for you the second time. And so, how'd you find CR? Were you already going to Hope?
I wasn't actually. My home church was Westview Church out there in Waukee, not too far away from Hope. And I think I heard it from somebody because I kind of was talking about my alcohol use to somebody, and they mentioned it, and said some support group at Hope, and I'm like, okay, and I live very close to Hope, so I figured, maybe I'll look into this. So I looked on the internet, and lo and behold, yeah, it's called Celebrate Recovery. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna waltz in there because there's usually somebody there all the time.
Yeah.
So I waltzed in there, I think probably on that Thursday. Well, it was not to celebrate recovery, but ahead of time.
You went to church.
Yeah, I went to go inquire about it because I was going to find out what, if this is up to my expectations. But
sure, no, so I get it.
I went in there to ask some questions.
Now, I want to stop you for just a second because that's a very good comment that you just made. When an alcoholic, and I can't speak for you, but I'll speak for me, when we decide we're done, we haven't been faced with a night in jail or a spouse telling us you're out of here or you've been fired from a job. When you just sick and tired of being sick and tired, you are Mannix. Well, you don't know who Mannix. You are a private detective.
Oh, yeah.
In trying to figure out, because you don't want to waste any time.
You talking about Joe Mannix?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Joe.
So I get it when you say that, and that's a nice compliment to you that you wanted to go in and see if this was a real deal. You weren't interested in sitting around playing patty cake.
No, and I figured, if this is just the same thing as the a 12-step, then what does it matter? I'll just go there. And I got a feeling that it wasn't. I talked to Melissa Dale, and I just was like, I think this is going to be something different. I think there's something in store for me here. So I decided to show up on Thursday, and that was my first time there. Since I'd gone to church before, the worship service and everything like that, piece of cake for me. Sitting in a small group, I've done that before. That was, a piece of cake for me too. I felt right at home, and I had a very good feeling about it. I kept coming back because the first couple months I actually sat in the fear, anxiety, depression groups.
Okay,
because that's I wanted to handle that first. And I remained sober throughout that whole entire time. And then I think it was close to 4 because I was switched over to that group in January or December, went into the chemical dependency alcohol rooms and sat with those guys. I've been with them ever since.
Yeah, and whether you realize what Adam just said or not, I want to reiterate something. If you have a mental disorder, a mental hang-up, a mental roadblock, I want to call it the smallest thing, and I don't want to belittle it at all. You do have to take care of that before you can quit drinking.
Yeah.
Because that is one of the reasons that you probably drive yourself to drink. Yeah. Is you're so emotionally unhappy with yourself through depression or whatever it is that the bottle is such an easy way to black out and to run away from that. So, yeah, kudos to you for doing that. That's very smart on your part.
Yeah, I just felt led by God to do that. I guess I got lucky or blessed to actually choose to do it that way.
Now, one of the things with CR that's interesting, there are 230-some 12-step meetings every week here in the central Iowa area, but there's only one CR on one night of the week. What did you do the other 6 nights?
I kept busy. Actually, over the course of time, I loaded up on ministries. I was playing in the worship band back at my home church, and then, I got involved with 12-step group. That happened, and I think we started in February of that year, and that was great. I can't say enough about that experience because that's where you really get to know people. Yeah. And sometimes, out there in those recovery groups, it can be really hard to get to know people because some of these rooms constantly change.
Yeah.
People show up to one meeting, they're not there for another couple months, and maybe you're really connected with that person, but they went out the door, you forgot to get their number or whatever, and you don't see them again. These groups, you really get tight with people, and you need that in recovery.
Yep.
And it's there, and I will also say this, in the 12-step, the groups that we do, I think just doing it on my own would have taken me about 4 or 5 years to get where I got in 1 year doing that group, because we went straight through the year, and I believe the last week of that year was the last meeting we had for our that first 12-step group I was involved in.
Now, is that 12-step group, are you an AA group?
No, that's ours.
That's the CR.
Yeah, that's our Celebrate Recovery 12-step group with the 4 books that's written by the Celebrate Recovery ministry.
Yep, out of California.
Yep.
And now, through Melissa Dale and some other people's work and help, we've got CR meetings, or we've got CR ministries coming into all kinds of churches.
Oh, yeah.
Across central Iowa. Some Lutheran, some not, all kinds.
Yeah.
If it's something you'd want at your church, just contact Melissa Dale at Lutheran Church of Hope, and man, she will be happy, and she'll come out and she'll set things up for you.
Yeah, I do believe so.
By the way, it's 25 years this year for Celebrate Recovery.
Is it?
The program.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that started out at a church in California as a ministry.
Rick Warren's church.
Yep, Rick Warren's church, and now it's just going gangbusters all across the land. Mm-hmm. I have a sponsoree who celebrated 500 days today.
All right.
And in that 500 days, he's been to 500 meetings.
No kidding.
Yeah, so congratulations to Jim. I've been blessed. I've had 4 sponsorees, and 3 of them are still sober and running great today. Not so much on the other one, and hope to see him someday soon.
Yeah.
Adam, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me on the show. It was wonderful to meet you.
Yeah.
And you guys, too.
Oh, no, don't say that to Frank.
Don't encourage him.
Don't encourage him.
No, you're wonderful, man. You're wonderful.
All right. Thanks for coming in. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you, Mac.
Tomorrow, we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with some of the elections. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened in South Carolina with Donald Trump. He won again, and how Hillary just squeaked past the burn. And what does that mean for you and I? And what does it mean for, like, Romans 13? What does Romans 13 tell us to do with our government? It tells us to pray for our government and pray for the leaders of our government. And I tell you what, I got to be honest with you, when I started praying for Barack Obama, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel right at all. And now, through my prayers for the leader of our country, God has given me a gentle peace about this election, and I so love him and appreciate him for that. Remember today, forgive somebody that you've been looking to forgive for a long time, because as you forgive, you shall be forgiven. I'll see you tomorrow.